Trafficking checking in, man.
We live on the Ustream. We've got Cat Stacks in the building, bitch.
And she actually let me look at her favorites on Twitter. So
she let us both look at that.
You know what's wonderful though?
What's that?
Is that when artists come up here, I'm gonna look at them totally different.
Totally different, right? There's an artist. I mean, I'll let you talk about it, Cat Stacks. That sends you. He actually sent it out on Twitter, so it's not really a private thing, honestly, right? You want to say who it was?
T-Pain?
Yeah. Go ahead, say it.
Hey, if y'all click on my favorites, it ain't no screenshot.
Just say click on the favorites. We're not gonna say what it says on
favorites.
Let's not say what it says. Just click on her favorites.
All right, click on her favorites
and
see what
you'll be
T-Pain
able to see. You know what I'm saying? What's going on? Okay. So you started actually. You know what I'm saying? You. So would you consider yourself a prostitute? Yes. No. Maybe so.
Yes.
Or entrepreneur.
I mean, you know what? The game's gotta be changed. She gotta be an entrepreneur now.
Well, I got turned out by a nigga who was almost 10 years older than me when I was 14, and he turned me out to the game I'm in right now.
Wow.
So, underage sex trafficking should be banned right now, but it still goes on to this day.
So that's some real serious things. So you say basically so is that big of an industry underage sex trafficking? Because it happened in Atlanta,
right.
Georgia. It was
actually what's so crazy about you saying it is that Atlanta is actually considered. I think it's the biggest place in America for sex trafficking because Atlanta has the biggest international airport.
Well, actually, I heard that Arizona was the biggest underage sex trafficking. But since I've been in the game since I was 14, I was 14, this dude was 22. He's my baby daddy now. I was with him for 5 years, faithful, worked 7 days a week. I did whatever. He was cross country. He manipulated me when I was young. I ran away from my home with him and everything. And I worked in Atlanta for 1 day in the street. And it wasn't really no money out here. So I would say where the most girls get trafficked underage is New York. Because I met girls who 12, 11, or 10 years old when I was 14. And they're working in 51st Street to 12th Ave.
Yo, this interview's changed, homie. This interview is totally changed. Y'all keep it locked. It's out 179.
That's how it is now. I've seen girls,
You know what? I think this is going to be a good chance for somebody actually to hear your story. No one's ever heard your side of anything.
I've seen girls 12 years old, 13 years old, being in the street working with crutches on because they daddy fucking broke their legs or they shot them on the leg and all that shit. I've seen all that shit. I got turned out in New York, in Brooklyn. That's where I got turned out at. And once I went through that horrible experience, he finally put me in white places where I won't get hurt at. He had to put me in a place where I could go through all this shit so I won't be a weak bitch.
So it's almost like, and excuse the analogy when I say this shit though, it's kind of like a pit bull. You know what I'm saying? You're like when they raising pit bulls to fight, you get them as little puppies, and then you rough them up, and they learn to.
That's exactly what they do. People think, pins and all this old ass cocos. No, most of the girls that have been in this game is girls who is under 15 years old that I've experienced and seen for myself on the track.
That shit's crazy, guys.
Wow.
That shit, I didn't even so this interview is just so changed.
So this is my question. What do you think? I mean, maybe if you can't even remember, as far as you being at a young age.
No, I remember because I was sober the whole time. I started drinking when I turned 17.
So when did everything turn for you? As far as you running away, what made you run away from your household? What made you leave your household at that young of age to even go pursue this other guy?
Well, my mother used to be never home. She used to be out 2 or 3 times a week, just doing her thing, working.
Really just didn't have you, you know what I'm saying? Just really wasn't, I guess, not to disrespect your mom, but just not really being a parent figure.
Yeah, she had me when she was 16.
Wow.
So she was a stripper and doing what she had to do to support me and my grandmother and my 2 uncles. So she supported the whole family. But my uncles raised me in their own way. So the way they raised me was with punches and stuff. So I couldn't take it anymore, and I met a man who I thought loved me, but instead of being loved, he turned me out to be his bottom bitch for 5 years. And his first baby mama ever. and he was a Brooklyn gorilla crazy track pimp. So
what you know what this might be a little, I know this is gonna be off question, but what is your nationality?
I was born in Venezuela. My mother is Venezuelan and my father is black from Trinidad and Tobago. See, girls in the game still right now that I've known for years, they actually hit me up and tell me, can you please help me get out
I just want to be like,
and like I always thank God, like, wow, I actually got to have a voice and speak to people after everything. Because when you're young, you're taught in the game to shut the fuck up and keep your fucking face down and not speak to nobody. That's how you taught in the game.
What up?
And now that you actually have a voice and people listen to you, it's like so new to me.
And that's probably why it doesn't matter what anybody says to you.
All right, bro.
It could give a fuck if Soulja Boy gets pissed off, or you could give a fuck if T-Pain or somebody says, because at the end of the day, it's like I've seen the worst type of attitude. What else could you fucking show me? What you gonna do to hit me?
Cause like everybody, alright, I usually be with like street niggas and they be like, yo, when they be on my Twitter, they be like, yo, I can't put up with this shit. Like they be like, I couldn't deal with this. I be like, when I first got in this game, you have to accept who you are. Like, the first time I accepted who I was, I remember I was 15 years old. I was pregnant by my baby daddy. And he was teaching me how to work the street with this OG pimp. And and I had to pee. I was like 2 months pregnant. I had to pee really bad. And he told me squat in the street. And I was like, I'm not squatting. And his OG pimp told me, if you pee in the street, it won't make you any less of what you are. And from then I accepted who I was. And I remember one time when I turned 16, my baby daddy cut my knee. And I started bleeding all over the place when he was beating me up. So when his pimp friend came home, he told me what the fuck happened, and she's like, bitch, clean this shit up. You know, he didn't give a fuck what happened. He's like, oh, bitch, clean this shit up. So I grabbed the sponge to clean the dishes, and I started cleaning the blood from the walls and the floor and shit. And he told me, you dumb, stupid bitch, how you gonna dirty the fucking sponge? You know, he's like, how you gonna dirty the sponge? Now I gotta buy a new fucking sponge, you stupid bitch, and all this shit. So then I realized. So then I realized I was 16. So then I realized.
You should have fucking sponge up. You ain't know about the goddamn sponge rule. Fuck.
I didn't know that. So then I was like, all right.
Did you know how much I paid for this Scotch sponge?
Bitch, this sponge cost me $2, bitch.
He was so mad.
That's a gallon of gas. Goddamn it.
No, he was so mad. Then I realized, like, who I was. No. Then I realized who I was and what I am, and I accepted myself.
What makes you? Can I ask you? This is gonna sound so fucking corny, but why does that gotta be who you are?
You had to accept who you was to live in the game I was in. Right now, bitches got it free. Yeah, you work in the club, you shaking your ass, whatever. Back in the days, you had no freedom of internet. Back in the days, you had no freedom of working the clubs. Back in the days, you had to have a pimp to work in the motherfucking street. They'll kidnap you if you didn't got a pimp. They'll fucking rape you, beat your motherfucking ass till you work for them. I was in the streets when they used to allow bitches to walk around in thongs and shit. Like, all these bitches got freedoms now. I understand why they got pimps now. I think they dumb as fuck. Because now they got freedom. Before, they didn't have freedom.
Because you can just log on the back page and hook your own stuff up.
Yeah.
I know some bitches on back page. Like when they start seeing your hoes in the club, they all on there one time.
No, but pimps now be setting up bitches on back page. The Craigslist is off now. But when needs to be Craigslist and shit, pimps will pretend to be customers and kidnap you when you go see them or slice your face. And I witnessed it myself. That's how it was back in the days. Now bitches got freedoms. I don't understand why they got pimps now. Now I look at them as dumb bitches. Back in the days, you had, like, no freedom of speech.